was doing so good! Hey, wait, why am I getting deja vu? Never mind. What should I do now?
Your phone is ringing, jackass!
My phone? To my knowledge, I have nobody in my contacts. It's a scam! Bet I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. Listen here, you ugly little...
That's ironic coming from you.
Huh? Oh, you wanna talk back, scammer?
Does it sound like I'm calling you about your car's extended warranty?
Yes, you're all the same, you idiot!
Hey, that's a racism!
Alright, let me chill out. Who the fuck is this?
You really haven't changed, Izuyuki Kako.
Wait, are you Pat?
Pat's dead, you dumbass.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait a minute, how do you know that?
Does PlayStation errors ring any bells?
Oh shit. Now I know who it is. Now I know. I'm gonna kill you!
Calm your non-existent titties. I'm at a homeless shelter and I have you on speaker.
What's that? He'll kidnap you. Calm down, people. Don't you all got eviction notices to look at?
Izuyuki!
Why are y'all pulling me, alright? What do you want, somebody?
Yes.
A for honesty, I guess. Alright, name a number.
13,000.
How about I pay you an exposure?
Unlike you, I don't have an OnlyFans.
Wait, how did I have a...
He has an OnlyFans, bet I'ma subscribe!
Chase, what?
Okay, alright. What did you actually mean by exposure?
I meant, as in, I feature in a video. We haven't done something like that in over 2 years. And I'm hungry for more.
What the fuck? That shit is so gay!
It's complicated.
So what do you say? Ready for one more shot?
If you give me the gun.
Bruh!
On the Lord hath hear a hut. On the Lord hath hear a hut. On the wicked in the low one, living #1 Nickelodeon.
Our first up on our list is big heads.
Whoa, what type of heads are we talking about here?
Okay, hear me out.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense, I guess. I swear, when you said the name of this bumper, it sounded really inappropriate. Anyway, this bumper was introduced in 2013, and I think is the only bumper on this list that is actually modern, as in not from the 90s. And may I say, it was a very odd choice for Nickelodeon to do this. Especially in the opera variant, the one that we played, it's very, very annoying. And might I say, the giant head makes it almost kind of uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah, like it's weird. It's not scary, but it's very like off-putting for any people watching TV and that suddenly pops up, especially if their volume's pretty high. That is like they're like just like, what the heck are they looking at? Number 14 is probably the most popular Scary Nick bumper, Pinch Face. I don't understand the scariness of it in my opinion. It's a classic. Pinch Face is one of the most popular, scary, quote-unquote, Nickelodeon bumpers, and back then when I saw it, I saw why people found it scary, but nowadays, I almost see little to nothing on why people find it scary. It's a very good bumper, minus the seizure-inducing background, and probably the sudden appearance of the Pinch Face may be off-putting for some people, but it's not borderline scary. And the music is extremely catchy in my opinion, it grows on you. And I would say the instrumental's probably loud, probably too much for a kid to handle, but overall I'd say it's a perfectly alright bumper.
At the end of the day, I would say this bumper is in line with the rest of the branding at the time. Because when you really think about Nickelodeon's branding throughout the 90s, it was very in-your-face and bombastic. This bumper fits into the same category, just like Izu said. The only real thing that makes it scary, quote-unquote, is the seizure visuals, which, at the end of the day, don't really make it scary.
Number 13 is...
Hey, Drimundo, I get to say number 13.
How dare you say my creator's name in vain?
What?
Did Ray just break the fourth wall?
You're not supposed to mention it. Anyways.
Number 13 is Dogs Barking.
Bow wow. Ruff.
The first problem with this bumper is the first dog we see. Clearly it seems some shit. It's also the most weird looking dog in the entire bumper. Sure, the rest are pretty weird looking too, but nothing really beats that first one. The real problem here is actually the audio in my opinion. It's dead silent except for the dog sounds. I'm not saying that the sound of dogs barking is necessarily unsettling, but in the context of this bumper, it kind of is. May I just say, the ending is also out of line. Why did they choose to have the dogs howling at the end? It's as if they were intentionally trying to freak the audience out a little.
Yeah, I agree. This bumper is really strange. It's not scary, but strange. And the howling is very condescending. It reminds me of Fat Dog Productions. This logo has howling, but the way it's executed is almost condescending. Number 12 is Head on Chair.
Another bumper with a head? Is Nick trying to tell us something?
You want to find out? I'll show you some head.
No.
Okay, wow, that is one hell of a bumper. Jesus Christ, where do I begin? A lot is happening in that bumper that's probably too much for a viewer to comprehend. I mean, the concept is right. It's fine, I guess. It's a kid watching Nick, but the way it's executed, it's so bizarre and jarring. This giant head and a couch, along with this bombastic, over-the-top choir piece music. Oh my god. The loudness of the music and the in-your-face style of it may get to some, but to me personally, it's not scary, but just funny.
Confusion is definitely the main thing to come out of this mess. I swear, it's not even like it's actually scary, as much as it is just all over the place. It's as if the bumper literally doesn't know what it's trying to do. One more thing, pay close attention to the slogan that was said at the beginning of that bumper. It's gonna come back multiple times.
Yup, this will not be the last time you hear Nick as kids. Number 11 is Bug Swatting.
To be honest with you, this bumper isn't necessarily scary, as much as it is just kind of sad. Yes, we kill bugs literally all the time. It's a very normal thing. And it's not like people normally have feelings for them. In fact, we usually have feelings of disgust for them. However, the way the bugs are portrayed in this bumper, believe it or not, actually make you feel sympathy for them. Especially the bug that survives. Just look at him, he's screaming in distress. And you hear that sound? That's the sound of trauma. Whoever swatted that first bug, you're on our shit list.
Yeah, it may not be scary for us, but it's definitely upsetting for the more sensitive type of people who love bugs or something along the lines. It will be definitely upsetting for them. Number 10 is Nick Brew. Now for Nick Brew, longtime viewers would notice the resemblance with Nick Brew and Egg and Spoon. Now, Nick Brew, unlike Egg and Spoon, it's not scary or dramatic. It's more of something that leaves you utterly confused. And the ugly looking 3D head and the way it animates its enlarging nose and the noises may leave viewers in disgust.
The interesting thing about Nick Brew is that, as far as we're aware, it's the first ever CGI bumper aired on Nick, introduced sometime in 1989. And it's very clear that it shows its age immediately. This is what early CGI was like back then, especially for television channels that really didn't have the budget for it. At the end of the day, this bumper is debatably more confusing than Head on Chair. At least Head on Chair had a concept that it worked with. The kid was watching Nick. On this, what is the concept for this bumper? That the man's head is a fish tank? Does that really make any sense? Oh wait, this is Nick. It doesn't have to make sense.
I'll cut Nick Brew some slack. Like Egg and Spoon was probably experimental, especially if it's the very first 3D bumper. We'll cut it some slack for that. Number 9 is Every Day. Every Day is always number 9. Number 9 is your life, your meaning, your purpose, your everything. Every day, number 9 is something you look up to, yet number 9 is also something you look down upon. The yin and the yang. It's the black and the white. The sun and moon. The oh, god damn it. I forget I'm still sick.
Congratulations for wasting the viewer's time. For those of you who made it out alive, here's the bumper.
But isn't that what YouTube's all about?
Play the bumper!
Every day you have to walk the dog. Oh, aren't you glad there's Nickelodeon every day?
No, cancerous voice. I am not happy that I have Nick every day. Especially not with this train wreck of a bumper. The Nick Everyday promotion is relatively obscure, and you don't really hear about it at all. In fact, none of us really knew about it until we discovered this madness. I think this bumper is a very good testament to why this branding failed. Obviously, the first problem is the weird voice. Sure, tuning your voice in this manner was sort of normal during the time period, but the children watching Nickelodeon would most likely be freaked out by that. The minimalistic visuals certainly do not help in that aspect. It makes the entire thing kind of eerie to watch.
The very low, deep voice could be very unsettling for kids who are not used to something like that, especially the dark background, since as we all know, black backgrounds are unsettling to a lot of people, even for adults, because it resembles an abyss or something more scary. Black backgrounds tend to be scary, that's the point. Number 8 is claymation kids.
Huh? You're not made of clay.
You don't know that, you weren't there when it all happened.
This was why 2004 was the worst year in the entire world.
Excuse me!
Nick, 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 Nickelodeon. Nick is kids.
I know Claymation Kids by heart. It is one of my favorite bumpers from the 90s, as a matter of fact. But its scare factor knows no bounds. Now, I get it. The music can be peaceful, somewhat beautiful at the same time. But there are some gross parts about this bumper that might leave you a bit unsettled. First off, the crude looking designs of the claymations could be very off-putting. And also, the music, albeit very peaceful, could also be somewhat condescending to the viewer, makes them feel like something's not right. Now, that may not seem sense, but this is the start of what I'd like to call, or what many people call, liminal music. This is when music, albeit they're made with good intentions, it may radiate malicious intentions. Take for instance, the SpongeBob ending theme. Now notice how even though it means well, some people actually feel nervousness from it. This is a good example of liminal music. And with Claymation Kids music, I think it's a good fit for the liminal music category.
It's like the Claymation Kids were designed to avoid a racism scandal. They're all weird colors. As a lot of characters were at the time because they didn't want to portray actual races. Cowards. Anyway, I will give the bumper credit. The claymation is kind of unique. At the same time, I don't know if the execution's really the best. I would say the audio is the main detractor here. And yes, this is the second time we hear the phrase Nick is kids. And it's not the last either.
Number 7 is Sleeping Boy. Not that Sleeping Boy! How did you get into my house?
Once again, Izu wastes our time. Well, this one is especially interesting. This is the only bumper that we have here that's actually specifically designed as a sign-off. You know, when Nickelodeon would shut down and Nick at Night would boot up. When you keep that in mind, this is a very clever way to send it off. But at the same time, it completely messes up how people are going to interpret this bumper. This is specifically designed to be seen at night by children so they can go to sleep. Parents, have a very fun time trying to get your children to sleep after the last words they heard were, Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon.
I get the concept of Sleeping Boy. It's supposed to be a sign-off, and the sign-off is portrayed well as it's a boy heading to sleep. But the audio, like Claymation Kids, the audio is the problem here. Hearing Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon is very weird, and the music. Alright, The music may be soothing for certain people, but this is where once again liminal music comes into play. It may sound soothing, but to other people it could be relatively scary, especially since this is a sign-up bumper that's seen at night, which adds to the creep factor.
Liminal music, huh? I think that's the smartest thing you've ever said in your life.
Ah, thank you. Hey, wait a minute, what do you mean by that? Number 6 is Egg and Spoon.
But I'm not hungry.
You're hungry when I say you are.
In that case, I'd like to eat the Chips Ahoy you put into the PS2 when you were little.
You swine. Remember when I mentioned Egg and Spoon and Nick Brew? Well, this is it. Possibly the second CGI bumper Nickelodeon ever made. And they did little to no improvement over the previous bumper. It still looks relatively the same, although the concept is still weird, if not weirder. And the music, being very overdramatic, could leave the viewer confused like the other bumpers we've mentioned. But this is where we could actually say this has some form of scare factor to it because of the overdramaticness of it and the ugly designs of the spoon and monster.
It seems that at the time, Nick thought that a good CGI bumper was one that could be as weird as possible. Clearly this is not the case, but Nick sure ran with it for a long time. The quality of these models is just about as bad as Nick Brew, albeit maybe a little bit better and more detailed, but really not by much. However, it's the concept that really puts it on the list above Nick Brew. Nick Brew, as weird as it was actually relatively innocent. There wasn't anything really harmful about the concept, as much as it was just confusing. Egg and Spoon, however, is a very different story. It's as if they intentionally designed this bumper to unnerve at least one child. If anything, the more detailed models make it creepier, considering that they could put more detail into making it look freakier. And let's not forget to mention the audible part of this bumper, especially the orchestra music. For a 90s children's network, this is very out of place.
Number 5 is Box.
Not that box!
You're just making fun of me now.
You should be used to this by now. Yep, we're not done with CGI bumpers just yet. This one appeared on air a lot later than Nick Brew and Egg and Spoon, which is clearly visible because, although the CGI is obviously not great, it's actually noticeably better than the other bumpers. A lot of people describe the slime in this bumper as a Klasky Shupo cousin. And while I don't completely agree with it, it has very clear resemblance to Klasky Shupo Splat. Out of all of the things they could have put in that box, they chose this monstrosity. The music, once again, does not help either. It seems like a mishmash of random synths.
Yeah, I agree. And the laugh that the slime has towards the end is kind of unsettling for kids. What a laugh that is! It's almost as if they're intentionally trying to freak us out. The laugh is very unsettling, and it makes the slime look like he has malicious intentions.
Wow, I'm so scared of a slime on TV.
Yeah, it may not be scary for us, of course, but for the little ones, it could be at least a bit scary. Number 4 is Jack in the Box. Oh my god, what a bumper. As a quote from a very famous video. Where do I begin with this one?
Don't even go there.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. But wait, I already did. Anyways, for this one, I could genuinely say this is a certified freaky bumper. And everything just happens in a matter of what, 4-5 seconds? The loudness of the bumper, the Jack in the Box freaky face, the creepy laugh at the end, all of that just adds up into a legitimately unnerving bumper that will definitely, without a doubt, freak out at least a couple kids.
Sure, the concept of a Jack in the Box technically is to jump scare the person using it, but I didn't think that the art designers at Nick would be insane enough to take that and use it for a network that is specifically for children. The main problem with this bumper, as Izu somehow correctly deciphered a moment ago, is how short it is. This bumper gives you absolutely no time to even breathe. All it does is immediately blast you and doesn't stop for an entire 6 seconds. If anything, this bumper and its audio were manufactured to specifically cause some sort of jump scare for the child watching.
Well, that's the concept of a Jack-in-the-Box, and if that was their purpose, it fucking worked. Number 3 is...
Now wait just a minute, you've been hogging the list for far too long. It's my turn to say an entry.
Excuse me, since when was this your video? This is mine. You're homeless. Hey guys, how about I do it?
You're a background character, you don't matter! Anyways, number 3 is what you want.
I want to suck your dick.
And I want your testicles cut off.
We want things now, but life isn't fair, is it?
Play the bumper!
Abracadabra. Some of my favorite words are bologna, baloney. It sounds like mumbo jumbo. Yeah, mumbo jumbo. Mumbo jumbo. What it is? Yeah, mumbo jumbo. That's really weird. Nickelodeon. It's an old saying that magicians use. Nick is what you want. Nick is what I want. Yeah, it is.
This one is actually kind of in a similar boat to Everyday. Black background, strange visuals, and strange audio. It's almost as if these two promotions were actually produced in tandem with each other. They are just that similar. One reason why this bumper is above Everyday on this list is because it's longer and debatably has even more stuff going on with it. It goes from random topic to another random topic, as if the bumper was specifically trying to emulate children's speaking patterns. Also, why the hell is the kid's face blue? Is it another racism type of thing, where they don't want to show an actual race?
Yeah, it may not be scary for me, of course, but it can definitely get to a few kids, especially in the mumbo jumbo segment, as that can be really overwhelming for kids. The dirtiness of the bumper, the nonsensical manner of the bumper, the bizarre design of the girl, and the lack of music could add up to being a very spooky bumper for kids.
Number 2 is a bumper that recently resurfaced. It's also the only bumper that's not from the main Nick channel. This is, of course, Nicktoons Zombified.
Nicktoons Kids Zombified!
Everyone wants to be my BFF. Happy? Hello? This is awesome!
Oh my god, holy shit, what a damn bumper. Now, this was originally lost to media, and it was better off lost because this is like something that had come out of a creepypasta, except this time, it's real. This bumper is way too scary for kids, and borderline even scary for adults. I'm seeing grown-ass men in the comment section being terrified of this. The seizure-inducing moments, the weird music in the background, the very disturbing voices can add up to an equally scary bumper for all ages.
Putting this on the list may be a bit debatable because, once again, it's the only bumper not from the main Nick channel. This is for the Nicktoons channel. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much impossible to make a coherent list like this without mentioning this specific bumper. Nickelodeon and pretty much every other children's network, and while we're at it, every television network in general, seem to always introduce some sort of branding change when the season comes. This is completely normal, and of course Nick still does it to this day. However, for this specific year, it's easy to see that they really went to the extreme point of what was allowed at the time. Sure, from the perspective of a person like me, who's pretty much seen all that the world has to offer, it doesn't really strike me in the way that it may strike others, but when we're considering those others, this one really seems to strike a chord. When this bumper was found, everybody was discussing how horrifying it is. Out of these 3, I'm gonna say the Fanboy and Chum Chum version is the weirdest of them. Although a lot of people seem to think that the Mighty Bee one is worse. But in complete honesty, all three are almost equal in terms of how scary each one is. Of course, take all of this with a grain of salt, as it's very important to consider that yes, this is a Halloween promotion. They designed it like this absolutely on purpose. Because of that, it's easy to say that this bumper has some sort of leeway. In fact, that's pretty much the only thing saving it from being number one. Speaking of which, number one is...
But before we do that, this video has been we have some honorable mentions we like to show.
We have honorable mentions.
Yes, we do.
What are they?
First up, we got Mime.
That one's not even honorable.
Fair enough. Next is Inside Out Boy. Now this bumper, quote unquote, is very unique because they're more shorts than bumpers, like boomerang shorts. There's a lot of them, but we're just gonna play the weirdest one.
Nickelodeon presents the continuing story of the kid who accidentally swung over the bar and became Inside Out Boy. We join our hero as he faces his greatest challenge, girls.
Hi. Hey, you're that Inside Out Boy.
Call me IOB.
So, like, what are your superpowers, IOB?
Well,
Do you have super breath?
no, but I do have minty fresh breath. Smell.
Do you have X-ray eyes?
Nope, but I can turn my eyelids outside in. Look,
Gross! I thought you were different.
I am. Wait.
We're going to be late. You are late. Hall passes, please.
Sorry, no pockets.
My hero.
Inside Out Boy. He's got what it takes to impress a girl.
Guts.
You've got him too if you just look inside.
If these shorts were considered normal bumpers, they would definitely be on the list. The fact that they are shorts is pretty much its saving grace, because if they weren't shorts, I could easily see this being somewhere around number 7. The stop motion in this one is arguably worse than Claymation Kids, and especially in the short that we chose to play, the character designs are just horrific.
Next is Chomp, or Chomp Chomp, whatever you call it.
Nickelodeon.
This one is not necessarily scary, it's just slightly weird, and it's also an honorable mention because I showed this on my previous list. I don't know why I put it on the list, looking back at it. It's a perfectly adequate bumper. Probably the teeth chattering is weird, but it's not scary. I don't know why I put it on my previous list. And finally, our last honorable mention is the very first Nick bumper from 1979, the Young People's Satellite Network.
Introducing Nickelodeon. Children's programming that's fit for children. 13 hours of programming a day, 7 days a week, that will make them wonder, laugh, ponder, and think.
And why is this an honorable mention?
Apparently it's creepy to such a few, according to the CLG wiki page I read years ago.
Well, the CLG Wiki are just pussies if they find that scary. Now we can get to number 1, which is... Wait, this one again?
Yep, there was nothing they did that was more scary than that one, because at least Zombified was for Halloween purposes.
I get that, but this was number 1 in every other list.
Okay, do you have anything other than Zombified that's actually scary? More scary than this bumper? You know, I actually tried with this video. I worked my ass off doing this video. Yet all I get is that stupid, obnoxious, ignorant voice of yours. When are you gonna act your age and act mature this time?
Number 1 is Nick's Kids, goddammit.
Nick is. Nick is. Kids.
We meet again, old friend. You may think that this was just here for the sake of being here, because again, it was number 1 both times before. But at the end of the day, even with some searching, it was incredibly hard to find something that could top the absurdity of Nick is Kids. It's currently unknown if this is the bumper that officially started the slogan Nick is Kids, but it should be more than apparent that it definitely did not do the branding any favors. In fact, if it does anything, it completely obliterates the chance of Nick is Kids working out, because as a direct side effect of this monstrosity existing, every other bumper to use the Nick is Kids slogan just gives flashbacks. Every single aspect of this bumper is unnecessary. The heartbeat, the dramatic sound effects, the strange way they show the children's footage. All of this makes for a bumper that seems like it was designed as a Halloween promotion, but it really wasn't. Whoever put this madness together clearly does not know their audience well. If Nick truly was ever for kids, this bumper might have scared them off permanently.
I still can't believe it's an official bumper that was made for regular syndication. The fact that the bumper is made in such a way, Jesus Christ, in a handbasket, what a fucking bumper.
Okay, seriously, is it really that big of a deal?
Yes, it really is that scary. But matter of fact, you know something? Hold on, here's the crazy shit. You know something? For the past, the whole time I've been talking to you, I have not been appreciating your attitude.
Call 911 then, because I clearly hurt your feelings.
Smartass. And with that, we have completed the list. Do you have any final words, friend?
Friend is a very loose term, but as a matter of fact, yes I do. If you're going to make a bumper, do not make a bumper like any of these. And remember, when you see a stop sign, you stop.